Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add groove to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. The 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida, with your host and hostess, Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. Show for trans folks by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Transition Radio. And tonight we got a treat for you. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, PornoBay.com, an auction playground for all your adult entertainment needs.
Check out their business listing,
Their classified ads,
job openings,
forum and chat rooms.
not to mention their really cool merchandise.
Place your bid today at Porno Bay. Well, tonight we have Ryan Cassata. He's a transgender singer, songwriter, a motivational speaker from Long Island, New York, who, all by the age of 18, successfully cut 3 records, booked and went on multiple tours, played several of the world's biggest gay musical festivals, won the Harvey Milk Memorial Award, became the youngest keynote speaker for the largest transgender conference in the world, and appeared on national and international TV on several occasions.
At the young age of 14, Ryan began to gig across Long Island. Now, only 4.5 years later, he has made over 300 appearances, consisting of tour dates from coast to coast. Cassata has shared the stage with artists like Kareem, Salt and Pepper, Frenchie Davis, Chris Crocker, Tom Goss, The Quick Five, Austin Gibbs, Jeff LeBlanc, Medina Lake, and One Love. Ryan Cassata is the composer of the soundtrack for Loot Planes, an award-winning independent film.
Ryan Cassata appeared on the Larry King Live Show back in 2009 and the Tyra Banks Show in 2010 for being transgender himself. Aside from being a musician, Cassata is a strong advocate for the transgender community. He travels in the United States speaking at high schools, colleges, and conferences, sharing his story with a mission to stop ignorance and bring peace to the world.
Ryan writes very passionate lyrics. His words are positive and inspirational to today's generation. He hopes to spread this positivity across the country and around the world and hopes to make people smile and catch on to kindness. Ryan Cassata is doing much more than the average teen. He demands change. He demands revolution, and he demands peace.
And welcome to our show, Mr. Ryan Cassata. Hey, Ryan, are you there?
Yeah.
Awesome. So glad to have you on our show. Been looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Yes, hi, Ryan. How are you?
It's amazing, Ryan. I've seen you grow. I remember when I first saw you on the Larry King Live. You were 14 then. I've watched you grow into an amazing young man. Your music is just amazing. We seem to share a lot of the same vision about bringing peace, understanding, and love and create a revolution in this world. And I just wish I was your age and not an old fart like I am at 48, but I really admire your work and everything you've done, and you're just an amazing person all around.
Thank you.
Ryan, you're very welcome. What has been the most amazing thing about your transition?
I think that the most amazing thing about my transition is that it's allowed me to educate a lot of people, and also I've gotten to meet so many great people through my activism work and through my music, and just because I'm transgender, I've been able to talk to so many different people, and I think it's great.
And out of all these amazing things that you've done in your transition, what do you think has been the most outstanding, or the memory that most sticks out on you?
The greatest thing I've done so far was speak at the Philadelphia Trans Health Conference, and I was elected the keynote speaker for this year's conference. So I gave a speech in June, and that was like a really big moment for me, and probably the best speech that I've ever given so far.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Ryan, who has been the most supportive person in your life, and what would you like to tell them?
So far throughout my entire transition since coming out to now, my mom has definitely been a really big support, as well as my older brother, and they both really helped convince my dad to accept my transition, and they were there when I was going through really dark times and, really needing to get top surgery. So they really stood by me, and I can't thank them enough for their support.
That's amazing.
So you mentioned your father. Is he on board now? Is he more understanding?
Yeah, my dad's very supportive now. I'm really lucky.
That's awesome. That's so important to have that parental support. And I saw the show on Larry King. Your mom has always been a very great advocate, and that's very admirable.
Yeah.
Tell us about the special person in your life and what she means to you.
Yeah. I have a girlfriend, and we've been dating for about a year and 3 months now, and it's been a wonderful relationship, and she's really put a lot of happiness into my life, as well as a lot of positivity and direction, and we're having a great time together, and right now we're living in San Francisco and just having a blast out here. She even came with me to my top surgery and helped my parents, and she's just been so supportive throughout my transition, and really throughout every single thing that I've ever done, she's been supportive.
How is it in San Francisco? How's the community and everything like that towards transgender individuals, towards the LGBT in general?
It's really great out here. It's very free, and I feel pretty safe around here. The greatest moment I've had out here was marching in the Trans March, because I looked back and I saw hundreds and hundreds of transgender people, and I looked forward and I saw hundreds and hundreds of transgender people, and we were all marching together. So the community is definitely here, and it's really great to be a part of a community and see that it's not such a small community after all.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard a lot that there's several trans guys who blog on YouTube. Charles Thornton is one of them, and he lived there, and it just seemed like very amazing. I'm just a little scared of earthquakes, and I heard also the living expense in California is pretty high. So, but if not, I'd be there.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity out here.
Well, Ryan, your music is very powerful. Where does your inspiration come from, and what artists have inspired you?
All of the lyrics in my songs are all based on my life or things that I've witnessed, and also I write a lot about political issues like, equality and peace and that type of thing. I write a lot about bullying as well, because that's something that I've experienced, and I see so many other young people go through it, and it's really heartbreaking. So I write a lot about that, hoping that people will listen to the messages in my songs and realize that, we have to do something about these problems.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lack of that in the youth. That's why you're so admirable, that you really see what's going on, that the world is really falling apart. And if the youth, which is the future of tomorrow, doesn't take charge and start really getting involved, then there is not going to be a future. So I really tip my hat off to you that you're not just writing about La La Land or things that your typical teenager would tend to write about. And you really have a heart, and you really have a great message in your music.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Ryan, what advice do you have for other young trans men that are going through the turmoil and are having difficult time during the transitioning?
Yeah, I know that a lot of trans people have a tough time coming out to their parents, or they're afraid that their parents aren't going to accept them, or their parents really aren't accepting them. For me, when I came out, my parents didn't accept me. It took my mom a year and my dad about 3 years. So I went through a really rough time, and I think most transgender people go through this rough patch, but it's important to know that things will pick up again. And sometimes, it's hard to adjust when you're transitioning, and it's important for the person transitioning to realize that it's hard to adjust for other people as well, and just give your loved one time, and eventually they will come around. And, transgender people struggle a lot with gender dysphoria and a lot of social situations and things like that. And it's important to just get used to yourself, and you really just have to accept yourself. And if you accept yourself, you'll be a lot happier. So it's important to live for you and not for society.
Are you sure you're not 48 years old? I mean, for an 18-year-old, you really have your head well put together. And like I said, the majority of people that transition as young as you have, they're not as aware, and they're very angry, and they blame everyone outside of them and towards me. And you seem to be such a happy-go-lucky guy and very joyful, and just your whole energy is just something that's very pleasant to be around. And that's hard to find in a lot of the transgender individuals. They hate everything. They hate themselves. They hate the world. And it's really good to hear the message coming from you that, the key is to love and accept yourself, and then everything else will follow.
Yeah, and also a lot of transgender people focus so much on changing their physical appearance, hoping that changing their physical appearance is going to change their feelings inside and make them not depressed and happy. And it's important to know that the change really begins within. The change isn't always visible. So happiness doesn't have to be something that's an appearance thing. So it's important to realize that the change is already within you. And some people don't need surgeries or hormones to get there. So it's important to realize that.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of us tend to lose sight of that a lot, through transition.
And they always think that, the grass is greener on the other side, that if they're in point A, if they got to point D, they'll be happier. If they're not happy in point A, they're not going to be happy in point D. And that's
exactly.
Just something they need to realize. And I think the psychologists that treat gender dysphoria need to really pound that on individuals. And it's not about the hormones, it's not about the surgery. It's about being self. It's about accepting self and loving self. And then everything else, like I said before, will follow.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Ryan, where are you heading in the next 5 years, do you think?
Well, within the next 5 months, I'm going to release some new music, so I'm excited about that. And hopefully the California education system won't collapse, and I'll be able to graduate college. They say that the average right now is 5 years, so hopefully I will be graduated by then. And, I see big things happening in my future, and I just, right now I'm doing some pretty big speeches and some activism work, and I just really enjoyed doing it, and it's starting to pick up a lot, so I'm really excited for that, and I just want to travel to so many different schools and educate so many different people, and I know that in time I'll be doing that on a much larger scale than I am now.
That's awesome. And what are you going to college for? What's
right
going to be your
now,
major?
Yeah, right now I'm a political science major, and I'm also studying communications here, but I really like all of my classes.
That's awesome. School is good, but I think there's something that college doesn't teach, and that comes from within. That's being a good person, being a spiritual person, being able to connect with one another. And music is definitely one of those avenues that allow us to do that. I went to college and became an occupational therapist and thinking I was going to help people, but this whole system has totally changed the way they look at the ill or the sick. And it's just, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. The system is just, it's failing us completely. And
yeah.
We've got to create a change. This world is heading in the really wrong direction. And I think that we just have to create major changes to bring things back to where we were back in native times, and it was all about love, peace, and happiness, and people didn't worry about what car they drove and all that craziness, materialistic world that we're living in.
Yeah, well, I think the change is definitely coming, and I think we're in the heat of the movement right now. So I see a positive future for the community.
I think there's a lot of people that are still dead asleep, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's a lot more waking up.
No, that's true, but it's like,
it's more people that I look at, I'm quite amazed that they're awake and not dead asleep. If they look like they would be dead asleep, then you start talking about something, and boom, it comes out, and they're like, wow.
So what are your current endeavors, and tell the listeners where they can find you and your music?
Yeah, right now, like I said, I'm working on some acoustic recordings, and hopefully I'll be releasing them soon on iTunes, hopefully before the new year. And you could find my music at ryancassata.com, or I'm also on Facebook and Twitter, all those types of things. And you could find my previous 3 albums on iTunes and Spotify.
Out of all the songs that you have written, which is your most favorite?
What is my most what?
Favorite song.
Favorite. Yeah, my favorite song to perform live is Love Around the World, and I think it's just the energy that's in it. And, the whole crowd really gets going when I play it, so it's always a fun one to play, and I get people to sing in the bridge, and everyone's singing the word love over and over again. It's just like, it's really powerful, so I love playing that song the best.
I was curious about something. I noticed you had your breast surgery or your breast removed. Are there any plans for you to take testosterone in the future, or is still your worry about your voice changing that will keep you from ever going on testosterone?
Yeah, I got my top surgery in January, and I'm not on testosterone. I don't know if I ever will go on it. Sometimes I'm worried about my singing voice and how it will change, and if that change will be positive or negative, and if fans will recognize and everything. But I'm also really happy where I am in my transition right now, and I don't think I really need to. Not right now, at least. And I think, I found a lot of happiness through my top surgery and through being with my girlfriend and through having such supportive friends and family. And I just found support in a lot of ways and happiness in a lot of ways that are other than transitioning and physically changing. So I feel good. So I don't think I need to.
That's all that matters. It doesn't make you less of a man, and it's actually, there's a lot of downside to using testosterone. My voice changed completely. Luckily enough, I was able to we teach myself how to sing. And from when I was a female, I used to have a soprano voice, and but I was going through the changes, that puberty thing, and then I couldn't sing at all. I became very depressed, and then I decided, well, let me try if I could retrain myself. And luckily, I mean, it's not the greatest, but I kind of dabble in it and try.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty good.
Think so? Yeah.
Definitely.
It's husky.
Yeah, very likely.
Yeah.
Ryan, what message do you have for the world in general?
I think it's important to know that positive change is happening right now, and I think everyone should really keep their heads up and stay positive. And if you could join the movement in any way possible, join the movement, because it's happening right now, and real change is going to happen. And to everyone that's listening, I just want to thank everyone for following my music career, my speaking career, and it really means the world to me to have so much support and love.
Well, you got 2 followers sitting right here, sweetie.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to add? We still have, we went through the questions very quickly. I'm trying to think of other questions here. Where did you meet your girlfriend, if you don't mind us asking?
Yeah, my girlfriend and I met at a summer camp in August of 2011, and I went to the camp last minute. It was in San Francisco. It was the first time I'd ever been to California, and I met her on the first day of camp, and it was love at first sight. And we stayed together. We were 3,000 miles apart for the beginning of our relationship, but now we're both living in California, and it's going really well.
That's awesome. How hard was it to be so far away, having a distant relationship?
Yeah, the long-distance relationship thing is pretty tough. It's not something that I would choose to do. There's, problems with communicating and everything, so you have to rely a lot on cell phones and the internet, and of course there's no being in person. But I was able to fly to California about every 3 months to see her, so it worked out.
And you like California so much you decided to stay.
Yeah, I love it here.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go, but like I said, I fear earthquakes. I mean, I know we have to deal with hurricanes here in Florida, but
which we're actually dealing with now.
Yeah, we're a bad system.
Oh no.
How is she with you being transgender? Is that even an issue, or?
It hasn't been an issue at all between us. She's incredibly supportive. The only issue that's come into play is that her parents don't really accept me being transgender, so that's caused a bit of problems with us. But she's really supportive, and I mean, I'm really lucky to have a girlfriend that accepts me the way I am.
That's beautiful. Yep. I caught a couple of your videos where she seems very shy.
Yeah.
She's
a little camera shy.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add, Ryan? Any other information?
Anything you want to tell anybody about yourself? Anything more?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Covered a lot of territory in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Do you ever look back on the videos of Larry King? I mean, it's like it's amazing how 4 years you really look like a little. Well, you were a little kid. You were 14, and then now.
Yeah.
Do you ever look back at those videos? Did you ever regret having come out like that to the world?
Yeah, well, I don't regret coming out young. I think I was better off doing it that way, and especially because I had the opportunity to make a really big change in my high school. But, I mean, looking back on the videos from when I was younger, it's a little awkward for me to watch. Sometimes I forget that I had to have top surgery, and I just think that I've always been flat-chested. So So sometimes I look back and I'm like, whoa, what is this? This is really strange, you know. But only like stuff like that happens.
Well, how was it in high school being transgendered, and how did you deal? Did you have to deal with anybody giving you a hard time, bullying, any of that stuff, and how did you deal with it if you did?
The people that I struggled with the most were the staff members in my school, and I had a couple teachers that were just not accepting at all, and my gym teacher was not okay with it, and my mom, like, went to the school and told him that, you know, you have to call Ryan and use the right pronouns. This is ridiculous. It's his legal name. Just go with it. Stop, you know. You can't keep calling him by his birth name. It's stupid and ignorant. And after that, I didn't have any problems with my gym teacher again, thanks to my mom. And I had another struggle with the school yearbook. And the yearbook coordinator, like, promised me that my name would be in the yearbook as Ryan, and then he just was like, no, your birth name's going to be in there. And it was this whole crazy thing, but both times I ended up getting my way, and, you know, people ended up respecting me in the end. Just sometimes it just takes a little education.
And,
Exactly.
And you're very lucky that you've had such a supportive mom that has been your advocate, your guide, was your rock, you know, and that's a good thing, because most of us don't have that.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Most of us had to hide for many, many years.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
yeah, it is.
We want to thank you, Ryan, so much for being on the show tonight, and wish you the best of luck in your endeavors and future music. Who knows, if I ever step down to San Francisco, maybe we'll hook up and do some collaboration or something. I'd love to be able to share a stage with you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Right.
It was great to meet you, Ryan, and talk to you. Well,
thank you so much.
Hopefully I'll get to meet you one day.
Yeah.
You're a great inspiration for a lot of trans people, Ryan. Keep doing what you're doing, sweetie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Have a good night, hon.
You too.
All right. Well, that was awesome.
Yes, it
Wonderful
was.
young man with a good head on his shoulder for 18 years old. Let me tell you.
He's more mature than most people.
I'm
48. Just kidding.
It's an amazing thing.
Well, yes, he's very mature.
We are going to bid our goodbyes. I'm going to end the show by thanking our sponsors.
Check out PornUpAid.com and place a bid on the toy of your dreams.
Out of work or in need of a job, or maybe you're lonely and in need of a playmate for fun.
They have all this and more at PornUpAid.com.
So check out their website before the night is done. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, listeners. We're going to end the show with one of Ryan's songs called Hands of Hate. Love you guys, but remember to love yourselves too. Good night.
And sweet dreams.
Students marched in Oxnard, California in memory of Lawrence Larry King. The 15-year-old student police say was gunned down by a classmate because he was openly gay.
Oh, Mrs. Shepherd, I heard about your son. He was filled with glory until hate begun, and he cried at that fence like a scarecrow afraid as those boys beat him dry with the hands of hate.
McInerney was arrested a few blocks away from campus a short time later.
Lawrence King never saw ninth grade before that bullet was forced into his brain by a bully, a madman, a classmate of rage. Just at 15, young Larry was sent to his grave, and we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and learn not to wait? And we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and be one human race?
We jumped off the George Washington Bridge right into the Hudson River.
Well, our friend Tyler was forced off of a bridge after his roommates filmed an out at him.
bridge into the Hudson River last Wednesday. Police have found his car at the top of the bridge, his wallet.
Poor old Jamie always smiles and thrives, but as the slurs went on, he couldn't stay alive, and he took his own life on a cold September night, and the bullies admitted that they wanted him to die, and we joined together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and learn not to wait? And we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and be one human race? Did you think about how his mama would cry? Wish he was forced with goodbye. Did you think about his papa when he died? How will they survive? And we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and learn how to wait? And we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and be one human race? Oh, Mr. Shepherd, I heard about your son. He was filled with glory until hate's gone, and he cried at that fence like a scarecrow afraid as those boys beat him dry with the hands of hate.
Every single American, gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, every single American deserves to be treated equally in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of our society. It's a pretty simple proposition.